Hello and welcome to another Looney Tunes review video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to follow my journey to review all 1000 classic Looney Tunes shorts and give this video a like as well. So this is a review for Buddy in Africa, released in 1935. It's the 107th in the series, and it's directed by Ben Hardaway. There's no official restoration for this short, and don't go holding your breath for one being available. You'll see why as we go through this short. I am using a film print, and the person whose print this is well aware that I use his prints for these reviews, and he's more than happy for me to do so. In case you haven't seen this one, and perhaps count yourself lucky that you haven't seen this, but anyway, Buddy is a traveling salesman visiting Africa. During his journey, he encounters an ape but refuses to give it a ride. He reaches the village, sells some goods to the natives. A small monkey steals a bottle of alcohol. He gets taught a lesson by Buddy. He leaves and then seeks help through a bigger ape, and then you got this whole confrontation at the end. So not really that interesting, but in any case. So in this review, I'm going to go through the short from start to finish and go through the trivia and all that, and you can probably hear it in my voice, I'm not really excited to revisit this. And it's actually less about the African stereotypes, as bad as they are here, and more about the fact that I'm really not a fan of Ben Hardaway as a director. For those of you who've been following this channel for a while know that I don't particularly like the guy's work. Some of his gags are okay, but as a director, I found him to be rather weak. And this is actually his last short that he does for a while, before he comes back to Warner Brothers in '38 and is part of a directing team with Cal Dalton. So they do that for about a year before Friz Freleng returns to the studio. And this is the third last Buddy short, and it's quite clear from watching this one, the writing was on the wall. There's just nothing interesting about this character. None of the directors could make him work. I think the closest two directors that made him work, at least in some way, you've got Earl Duvall, and he did some interesting things with Buddy, where it was kind of like a Popeye dynamic with him, this big brute of a bad guy, and Cookie, his girlfriend. And Friz Freleng's entries were okay as well, but ultimately Buddy's just a dud, okay? Apologies to those who like him as a character, so I'll be glad once we finish reviewing these Buddy shorts. But let's rip the band-aid off and get this one done. And right away when we open up, I immediately want to turn off this short. It's so bad. You got the native, you think he's cutting grass, but no, he's trimming his roof. Ha ha. And then we see one native using another as like a coconut crushing machine of some sort, like a press. I mean, we can look at this short from the point of view, it's like, okay, this depiction is pretty bad. But the sad thing is, back in the day, primitives were seen as novelties. So in this case, it's like, you know what? They're savage, so therefore we can get them to do savage things like this and it'll be funny. So it is what it is, but I'm not going to go through this whole short pointing out how bad this is. We all know what it is, and we'll just have to go through it together, shall we? We then see a native game of horseshoes. Okay, moving on. And now we see our main character, Buddy, who has a variety store that I'm assuming, based on this, is what would have happened back in the day, where in isolated villages you would have certain folks, they would travel from village to village selling their wares, and in this case it's the white man showing off the wonders of Western technology to these quote-unquote savages. I mean, it is what it is, but it's definitely something that would have happened at the time for sure. Maybe not like this in cars and that, but at least in the 1930s. And in another installment of Ben Hardaway's gags are incredibly weird, you have this hitchhiking ape who gives off a smile and Buddy ignores him, because we all know Buddy's really a prick in real life, right? He's not happy and that's it. So now we see an intersection where giraffes are being used as they normally would be used in the wild, along with an ape traffic officer of some kind, where we see Scram. But anyway, alright. You'll definitely hear me say a lot Hardaway's gags are pretty weird. At least Hardaway tries to keep things realistic by having an animal that clearly belongs in Africa, which is a kangaroo, of course. That's not true. But anyway, whatever, you just put that aside. He's got a hat saying DSC. I know it looks like OSC, but it's actually DSC, and that is basically the company that was like a street cleaner. And that basically he's putting trash in its couch where the young would stay. I don't know, I'm overthinking it. This is Ben Hardaway, folks. The king of weird gags, but anyway. So after that bizarre traffic intersection gag, which also involves that kangaroo smoking a cigar he finds and the traffic officers just having this really relaxed attitude, Buddy arrives at the village, which is called Snake Eyes. I don't know what that's referring to, if there was a movie around this time where they had Snake Eyes involved. I know that there is a connotation with African Americans and gambling, and Snake Eyes is associated with gambling, so I don't know if they're mixing things up here, but if you know the reference to this, definitely let me know in the comments below. And so Buddy sets up his store and he's ready to peddle his wares to the natives. Take a wild guess about what's going to happen here. I mean, could it involve the natives using Western devices in weird ways? Nah, that couldn't happen here now, could it? And for good measure, Buddy not only hits the drum, but he also hits his butt. Why? Because it's Ben Hardaway. Although it's interesting that these natives, they clearly don't have money, and Buddy's clearly all about, hey, give me your coconuts. I'm assuming they're coconuts. That's what it looked like earlier on in the short here. So really he's just bartering here. So what is the business model here? And yes, this is another installment of me overthinking this. I know. So he gets these items, he trades it in for these coconuts. Does he then sell the coconuts to buy? I don't know. Okay, moving on, guys, moving on. We then get a native who thinks about using a storage battery, and he puts light bulbs in his ears and a lampshade to create himself a lamp. Next. And then for some weird reason, a native puts 4 candles in his mouth and just ends up going like a rocket or a really fast deflating balloon or something. Where's the payoff? I don't know, guys. This one's torture. I'm sorry. So Buddy now has his brand of bitters. So I'm not sure what kind of drink is this. Is it like a soda drink, or is it actual alcoholic beverage like lemon lime bitters and that kind of thing? And apparently it's got a cure something. For some reason, the audio, I couldn't quite pick up what Buddy actually says to the natives here. So if you can tell me what he says and what it means, definitely let me know in the comments below.
Here's a drink that'll cure your famous jungle bitters.
Bravo!
Assuming you've watched this far, and if you have, thanks for going through this torture with me. Okay, it's clearly alcohol. Looking on the next scene with the way the natives react to it, and they all start singing in unison. I mean, the animation timing's nice, despite the imagery, but it's one of the very few nice things I can say about this short. So now this quartet starts singing, and if you want to know who sings it, it is the 4 Blackbirds, who were a vocal group at the time, and they're singing Marching Towards Your Georgia. Again, one of the very, very few good things about this short, but I would probably close my eyes when listening to this song. It's actually a nice rendition of it.
Excuse my enthusiasm, Cupid hit me with a dart. I'm marching towards you, Georgia, with a love song in my heart. Forgive my razzmatazz, my heart just bumps apart. Marching towards you, Georgia, with a love song in my heart.
But some of the imagery you see throughout the song, like with the elephant, what's up with the elephant being an instrument? I mean, they poke holes in its trunk. Never mind. And in another weird bit, does it look like that native has a nail through its neck? I know it's like a valve of some sort, and is that supposed to be a woman singing a guy's... Guys, really, I've just about had enough of this short. Wow. But I do like the animation of the 2 natives dancing to the music. That is really well done. Yes, I know, the imagery, blah, blah, blah. I know. But it's definitely a well done piece of animation here, so at least you got this, I guess. Oh, and that turtle, that looks like a banjo. That face is pretty much my face watching this short. So, in case you're wondering what I looked like, that's my face right there.
Let's go. I should be ready to boom to do. My heart goes loop to loop when I'm marching towards you, Georgia, with a love song in my heart, with a love song in my heart.
So now we get the rest of the story, which involves Buddy, this monkey, and then a bigger monkey very shortly. So we get an initial bit where Buddy's saying, give me back that bottle, and the monkey does what everyone wants to do, and he knocks Buddy on the head. And another bit that I do like about this short, after Buddy spanks this monkey, I don't want to say spank his monkey because, that's pretty bad connotation to it, but anyway, So the monkey walks off and he's not happy, and he goes up to the bigger monkey and explains what's going on. And the animation acting here, especially considering the time period, is actually pretty good and one of the very few bright spots in an otherwise awful short. So the little monkey explains to the big monkey just knock out the native to enter the village, and just for good measure, the little monkey even does a little eye poke. So I guess his confidence has ballooned quite a bit, hasn't it? And speaking of balloons, well, Buddy has to maintain his car somehow, so he's pumping up his tire, and now the big monkey realizes who it is, the guy who wouldn't pick him up when he was hitchhiking, and now we're in the last chase, and that's pretty much it. And really all it is just some gags involving the tire pump and the tire, which, there's some nice animation here, and the timing is pretty good in a lot of it, but it's not particularly funny, I thought. So the big monkey eventually gets on the tire pump, flies off, comes back, smashes into one of the huts, and the little monkey's still egging him on, saying, come on, go get him. And then in an unexpected change of heart, he gets rid of the small monkey, and now him and Buddy are friends, and that's it. We end right there. Gee, there's not really much payoff to this one, is there? Wow. Let's put aside the native stereotypes here, okay? Even if they were replaced with more aesthetically pleasing looking natives, or, if you change the settings to somewhere else or whatever, the fact is this short isn't funny. The gags barely have any payoff, the story just isn't there, and I've maintained this, and I will continue to maintain it, Hardaway just was not a good director. And he did some decent shorts when he came back and co-directed with Cal Dalton, but I maintain that it's because of Cal Dalton helping him. That's why a lot of the shorts are actually okay to decent. But when he's on his own, no, I'm sorry, he's not that good. I mean, this short gets 2 out of 10, and the 2 is basically, I do like the song that's sung, and some of the animation is nice. That's it. It is what it is. But it's the third last Buddy short, and, well, good riddance to Ben Hardaway for a few years, and that's that. But that'll do it for this one. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Assuming you're still here, apologies for the gripes at this one. You can understand how I feel doing a short like this, but until next time, take care.